Greetings and welcome, everybody. So I just want to jump right into it. There is a lot of news and misinformation that is being floating around pertaining to Microsoft in the last, I don't even know. I lost track. People's outrage over the whole Game Pass situation, which is completely ridiculous. Allegedly, there was some sort of a leaker that basically claims that Microsoft is abandoning its console plans. People still don't understand why Microsoft is putting their first-party titles on other competitors like PlayStation. People seem to actually believe that Call of Duty was the main driving force of Microsoft acquiring Activision. So look, I'm going to get into all of that. Hopefully you'll stick around. And even more hopefully, if you are not currently subscribed to the channel, hopefully this video will earn your subscription. And if you go a little bit step further, please join the channel. It will help me financially, and it's a great confidence booster. And also hit that bell for notifications. So let's get into video, and I hope that I can deliver on this value. So I'm going to share my screen right now. We're just going to get into this first particular topic right here. Now, this was floating around like the last day or so. Apparently, Microsoft has canceled its plans based on some sort of random leaker who probably lives at home in his basement that just had nothing else better to do to spread nonsense. So I'm going to leave all of these articles in the description of the video so you guys can check this out. But all in all, the main point of this article here is this right here, this part right here. As you can see, Microsoft has provided the following statement echoing our previous report, quote, "We are actively investing in our future first-party consoles and devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. For more details, the community can revisit our agreement announcement with AMD." Now, this right here, pretty much in a very professional way, shuts down all of the bullshit that these people are spewing regarding Microsoft's alleged exit from the console market in terms from hardware, which is absolutely ridiculous on its face when you know that Microsoft just announced a partnership, a long-term partnership, mind you, with AMD. And let me go to that article. Here we go. This article on Xbox Wire, what's the date of this? Does it show the date? Oh, yeah, here it is, June 19th of 2025. I remember watching this video. It was her and this gentleman right here, the CEO, and they were talking about their plans together to bring the next generation, which is the 10th generation of Xbox, to the rest of us in terms of the console market. And so yeah, I don't know how people did not see this announcement or they forgot. I don't know which one it is, but Microsoft is going nowhere when it comes to console. Why? Because this is a pretty big deal, literally. You don't align yourself with AMD and then all of a sudden just say, you know what, we're done. We're wiping our hands and we're washing our hands of the hardware division. That would categorically be a public relations nightmare on Microsoft as a brand, that they have backed out of a deal, a committed and signed deal with one of, if not the silicon chip provider on planet Earth. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. So, this is why I say what I say about larger content creators, that while they do have a lot more subscribers, they have a lot more channel members, and even those people that you see on X or Twitter, as some people still call it, they have all this influence, and yet and still they push and promote bullshit. They absolutely hate Microsoft, and they just want to see Microsoft fail. That's what they want. They just want to see the company fail, not realizing that competition is key when it comes to driving new and new advancement in technology, in graphics, in player experiences. If there's only one company, if there's only one show in town, do you think that show has the pressure to deliver? We see that going on right now when it comes to Call of Duty Black Ops and Battlefield 6, Black Ops 7. With everybody so hyped for Battlefield 6, it's going to hopefully push Activision to make a better Call of Duty product in the future. But if you have no competition, it doesn't matter what you put out because people have no other option. So for the people that literally are preying on Microsoft's demise, or should I say not Microsoft per se, because it's a $1 trillion company, but the Xbox division, you guys are idiots. You guys do not understand the ramifications of what would happen if one of these companies were to leave. Even as much as I criticize Nintendo for its scummy business practices, Nintendo does serve a purpose. I don't like their leadership at all. I think they can all kick rocks. But Nintendo as a brand, Sony as a brand, Microsoft as a brand, all of them offer something. Regardless of who you support, they offer something. And that something is very important to the health of the greater gaming community, of the industry, of the gaming industry. It is very important. It is vital. So to just be fanboying it up and saying, oh, you know, Microsoft is doomed, Microsoft is dead because of this, that is absolutely ridiculous, and it is the wrong path. It is the wrong mindset to have. Sure, you can have your favorites, right? I'm pretty sure some of my subscribers absolutely love Nintendo despite the bullshit that company keeps pushing. Sure, people love Sony, even though much of their business practices are copied literally from Microsoft. You know, but whatever team you are aligned with, it is better for the gaming industry as a whole for everybody to remain in business. Now, with that being said, let me move on, and hopefully I have pretty much explained this well, that Microsoft is going nowhere in the console space. There will be a 10th generation console that is partly developed in part with AMD. And one of the rumors, if we want to go by rumors, is that the next console for Xbox will have full Steam integration, which I know if it is true, it is going to make Sony very, very fearful, because that would essentially mean that Xbox users that have that console can essentially play PlayStation first-party games, the PC versions of it. That's what that would essentially mean. So we'll see if that rumor holds true. But beyond a shadow of a doubt, the next generation Xbox is going to happen. Now, I want to go on over to the Game Pass situation. Now, what you're seeing here, I typed in a query because I was just curious. And the question, as you can see on the screen here, is, did Game Pass increase the amount of games the lowest tier used to have? Now, the answer is yes. Now, the reason why I wanted to confirm this is because all of the hate that the so-called greater content creators on YouTube and the influencers push on X and Reddit and everywhere else, that basically claim that the lower tiers of Game Pass, which are currently now known as Essential and Premium or Premier, I forget which one, that it's pointless to have them and they offer no real value. Well, I did mention in 2 prior videos that across each tier, Microsoft now integrates cloud support and multiplayer. Before, you actually needed to have the Ultimate Edition of Game Pass to have access to those key features. Now, it's across all 3. So what that means is, if you don't want to pay for Game Pass Ultimate, you can essentially pay for Game Pass Essential to play your games online if you're an Xbox console player. That's it. Now, let's just say, I want to talk about this right quick. Let's just say, hypothetically, you're the type of player that would say, well, the only reason why I want Game Pass is to play the day one releases, like the big title games, right? Like Ninja Gaiden 4, Black Ops 7, and so on and so forth. Okay, well, yeah, it's $30. Sure, it increased in price by $10 whole. Ooh, wow, that's going to end the world. But here's something. You could still buy games, right? You are aware of this. You can still buy games. No one is forcing you to stay locked month after month after month after month paying for a Game Pass membership. No different than nobody is forcing you to stay with that Netflix subscription, right? No one's forcing you to stay with Amazon Prime. You can literally pay, you can hop on the ride and hop off the ride, as I said in prior videos. But as you have no doubt read while I've been yapping about this, is that Microsoft has actually increased the amount of games, thus upping the value of the lower tiers of Game Pass across Essential, Premium or Premier, I think it's Premier, and Game Pass Ultimate. Because to my understanding, I think Game Pass Ultimate is at 470 plus games. Premier, I believe, is at 350-ish. And now Essential, the $10 version, is about 50 plus, as you can see here. Because I can tell you prior, I think when it was called Xbox Console or Xbox Core, that particular tier of Game Pass only had about 25 games. In fact, officially, I did the check. I believe it's 67 games to be exact. I just remember that. 67 games for Game Pass Essential. So they increased the games, the amount of games, and they have integrated the multiplayer aspect and cloud functionality, yet they did not increase the price of Essential and Premier. They only increased the price of Game Pass Ultimate. So basically what that means is that you are essentially paying for Game Pass Ultimate to have a wider array of games, the day one exclusives. I believe you gain more rewards and perks and points and such like that. But let's just say if you wanted to play the upcoming Ninja Gaiden 4, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you want to play Ninja Gaiden 4, which comes out, I believe, October 20th. I will be streaming that on my channel, by the way. So you can basically buy 1 month of Game Pass Ultimate, right? You can buy one month, play Ninja Gaiden for a whole month, and then you can decide if you want to just buy the fucking game. So that way you don't have to keep paying month after month after month. So that's why when people say, well, the cost of Game Pass Ultimate is $360 and it's more than the cost of a Series S. Yeah, I guess so, if you're continuously paying for it, which I do, and I don't mind. Why? Because I actually get the full value out of Game Pass, which comes back to my point from the prior videos, in case you are new here, where I actually linked an article from Phil Spencer saying that Game Pass is not for everyone. And if you are the type of person that, only plays a handful of games, then buying those games would be the better option for you in the long term. So anyway, like I said, all of this outrage over a $10 increase over something that is not locking you into a monthly or year-long contract is absolutely absurd. If you're the type of player that, for whatever reason, you cannot find one game out of 470 plus titles that interests you, then I question if you're really a gamer or not. I'm gonna keep it fucking real. Like, out of 470 games, if you're that type of player that just only wants to play NBA 2K, Tekken 8, or some other game that's not on Game Pass, then I just feel like you're not really that much of a gamer. Because me, I play a wide variety of games. I am a true gamer. I play Tekken 8, and yes, Tekken 8 is not on Game Pass, right? And some games that you want to play may not be on Game Pass. But I find it hard to believe that out of 470 games, there's not one that's of interest to you. I guess it's possible, but I find it highly unlikely. But anyway, let me move on to the next article of business here. And I'm pretty sure that's probably going to rub some people the wrong way. I apologize. I don't mean to be disrespectful, condescending, but come on. 470 games. You know how many games I have played in Game Pass that I just tried? And that's another thing. I try games. I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't buy it, but it's here. It's a free download, essentially. It's part of the membership. And if I don't feel like waiting for the download, I can play it through the cloud. And many games I ended up buying because I tried the game, I liked it, and I just wanted to buy it. And also because it was probably being cycled out of the system. Anyway, let me move on. So the next article of business here is this story that you've probably have seen floating around. So this was also a big story that people were talking about, saying that Microsoft gave up $300 million in Call of Duty sales as a result of Game Pass. Okay. I have some hot fire for this one, but let's dive a little deeper into this, right? So the price, so this guy says, and this is what, courtesy of Windows Central, let's see. So, quote, the price hike and other changes to the Game Pass plans are a sign that Xbox's big streaming push is still not generating the revenue it would like 8 years after launch, according to interviews with 7 current and former Xbox employees. Mind you, we don't really know what their position was, but let's continue. The company is putting some of its top titles on the streaming service, but that's cutting into sales of higher margin games like Call of Duty, which came with Microsoft's 2023 acquisition of Activision Blizzard, said the people who asked not to be identified discussing internal company matters. Now, oh my goodness, this is so I want to explain something to people here, and I got to put the camera on me real quick. I want to be perfectly clear about this, and I'm going to show you in the next segment real quick. Microsoft could give two shits about Call of Duty. I know that might be surprising to many of you, but let me bring you back to the whole deal that Sony was bitching and complaining about, trying to block the deal of Activision being acquired by Microsoft in so many ways. It's just hilarious how Sony, PlayStation, the king of exclusives, the king of not wanting to put their games on PC, not believing that Game Pass was viable, and not even wanting to even do cross-play, that company was all up in arms because Microsoft was looking to acquire Activision Blizzard, because Sony was deathly afraid of losing their grip on Call of Duty. So much so that out of all the bitching, pissing, and moaning that Sony did, and it's all factual, you can look it up yourself, Microsoft actually made a deal with Sony that states that Microsoft will continue to put Call of Duty titles on PlayStation for up to 10 years. That's actually legitimate. You can research that. However, here's something that a lot of your favorite content creators and other so-called insiders are not going to tell you. And if they have said it, please link me the articles and the channels of people that say it, because I honestly don't see anybody saying this. I'm going to give you the absolute truth right now. Microsoft's acquisition of Activision had nothing to do with Call of Duty. In fact, at that particular time, Call of Duty as an IP, an intellectual property, was actually in the toilet at that time. That is a fact. The main reason why Activision was procured, was bought out, was assimilated by Microsoft is so that Microsoft could dive deeper into the more lucrative mobile market, which makes billions of dollars every year. Want some more additional context information? Let's go and share my screen, shall we? So I'm going to go over here. Now I entered this query and I put here, is Microsoft making money in the mobile market due to the acquisition of Activision? So I like how it just breaks this down. So I'm going to read all of this shit on screen. And I know it's going to upset the fucking Sony fanboys, but here we go. Number one, overview of the acquisition. Microsoft completed its acquisition of Activision Blizzard on October 13th, 2023. As part of this deal, Microsoft acquired King, the company behind Candy Crush, which is a major player in the mobile gaming market. Number two, mobile revenue potential. King has historically generated substantial revenue from in-app purchases and advertising in mobile games. In 2022, King brought in $2.79 billion, an increase of 8% from previous years. Microsoft projected that mobile transactions combined with advertising could grow to $4 billion by fiscal year 2030, representing roughly 11% of total gaming revenue. Number three, current status and strategic moves. According to Microsoft's reports and corporate updates, the company is actively leveraging Activision and King to expand its footprint in mobile gaming, including exploring mobile transactions, advertising, and streaming via apps on Android. As of 2024 and 25 period, Microsoft has integrated Activision's titles into Game Pass, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and is extending accessibility to mobile platforms through, though revenues from these mobile initiatives are still early stage compared to console and PC streams. Number four, while King's mobile revenue contributes to Microsoft's earnings immediately, broader mobile growth, ad monetization, and new game initiatives are part of future forecasts from this year, 2025, through 2030. The revenues from combined mobile strategies are not yet at their projected peaks. What does that mean? Very simple, because we're just getting started from 2025 to 2030. I'm going to continue. But King's existing mobile profits already provide a significant incremental inflow. So Microsoft is already benefiting from this. Are you going to hear this from your favorite content creators or these so-called insiders on Twitter and Reddit? Fuck no. You're going to hear about it on Red Re1ated. So subscribe and fucking smash that fucking like button, subscribe button, and join my channel, please. Anyway, I'm going to continue. Number five, Microsoft is making money in mobile gaming primarily due to the King subsidiary acquired through Activision. Again, like I said, Call of Duty had fuck all to do with Microsoft's decision regarding Activision. However, the most substantial part of projected mobile revenue growth, including additional advertising and newly monetized transactions across Xbox and cloud platforms, is anticipated in the mid to long term rather than immediately. Holy shit. Let me read that part again. The most substantial part of projected mobile revenue growth, including additional advertising and newly monetized transactions across Xbox and cloud platforms, is anticipated in the mid to long term rather than immediately. Final summary. Yes, Microsoft is earning revenue in the mobile gaming market thanks to the acquisition of Activision, specifically King, with historical and current revenue from mobile games like Candy Crush. The acquisition also positions Microsoft to expand advertising and in-app purchase revenue in the coming years, although the full FULL, the full financial impact will unfold gradually through 2030. So now we're going to focus on me real quick. I think I've earned a moment where I can be on camera. I challenge any one of you, because I know there's many of you that will watch my video that are probably not subscribed. Please do so. Smash the subscribe button and join the channel as a member as well. Please do that. It's not going to kill you. This goes on to illustrate the true purpose, the true reason why Microsoft went after Activision Blizzard. Like I said, it had nothing to do with Call of Duty. Call of Duty is let me tell you what Call of Duty was like the cherry on the sundae. It was like, oh, okay, we get Call of Duty as well. And that's why I was laughing my ass off during that whole FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, the whole market, the whole thing that was going on back in 2020. I was laughing because Sony, the geniuses that they are, they were actually so deathly afraid of them losing their grip on Call of Duty. Oh my God. And Microsoft over here is like, we don't give a fuck about call it. Okay, fine. If you'll call, whatever. Microsoft sees the bigger picture. This is why I tell people, look, Microsoft is playing chess. And everybody else is playing checkers, right down to your favorite content creators, right on down to your favorite influencers that got a bajillion followers and a bajillion subscribers. I wish many of their audience would join my channel so at least they can get properly informed. Because look, I'm not one to rush out with the news. I don't need to be first. But I damn sure will do my research and I will be as accurate as I can. So anytime I hear these rumors and all this other bullshit about Microsoft is doomed, Microsoft is a $3.78 trillion company that has inked a multi-year deal with AMD. They are not going any fucking where in the console space. And also, again, Call of Duty had nothing to do with the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. It had nothing to do with it. I just literally gave you the gospel right there a couple of minutes ago. Anyway, let me move on because I'm not done yet. So now I want to touch on this because I think a lot of people still don't understand why Microsoft is putting their games on PlayStation. So because I ask questions, right? I say, what is the current arrangement with Microsoft selling games on PlayStation? So let's break this down. After acquiring Activision Blizzard, Microsoft has been pursuing a platform agnostic publishing approach, reducing traditional console exclusivity and releasing many former Xbox-specific titles on rival platforms, including PlayStation. The company has publicly stated its goal is to focus on IP and game availability rather than console hardware, ensuring more players can access its games regardless of platform. Now, I understand many people may not understand what that means. What that means is that Microsoft is still pushing the hardware. So it's not like, somebody might listen and be like, oh, like it's a gotcha moment. No, Microsoft is well aware that, I'm just going to come out and fucking say it, due to the Asian market's bias against Microsoft, because that's what it's been like this since the original Xbox. So Microsoft will never gain a foothold in Asian territories. They are forever loyal to Nintendo and Sony. There's nothing Microsoft can do on that front. That is the main reason why when back in 2013, for a little bit of a history lesson, Microsoft, when they came out with the Xbox One, which was for the 8th generation, they categorized the Asian markets as tier 2 territories from tier 1 territories because they realized back in the Xbox 360 era, they literally bent over fucking backwards for the Asian markets, and they did everything that you can conceivably do short of giving the console away for free to the Asian territories, and the Asian territories never even really gave Microsoft a chance. That's why moving forward to the Xbox One, they decided to go and list those territories as tier 2. And it is still that way to this day. So no matter what happens, Sony hardware will always outsell Xbox hardware, and the only ones that keep harping on this shit are the Sony fucking fanboys, that many of which are designed as gaming journalists, which have a bias to grind because they keep pushing this, oh, PlayStation is outselling Microsoft 3-1, 2-1, 4-1. How could they not? Not only is PlayStation selling in America, UK, Canada, Brazil, but they also have the entire Asian market locked down. So of course Sony is going to outperform Microsoft hardware-wise. That leads to the reasoning why Microsoft decided to prioritize more of a subscription-based service and invest more so into their cloud technology. However, that does not necessarily mean that Microsoft is going to abandon their console division. Do you know why Microsoft is able to do both, to battle on, or should I say, do you know why Microsoft is able to burn the candle at both ends? It's because Microsoft is a $3.78 trillion company, and its CEO, Satya Nadella, recognizes the actual viability of the Xbox division, console included. So while it may not look like Microsoft is prioritizing a hardware, they are. But we understand as a business, the main movers is the Game Pass subscription service and also putting games on other platforms, because Microsoft yields, or should I say reaps 70% profit for each game that is sold on PlayStation. Again, another model that PlayStation or Sony is copying from Microsoft, because now we have what? Helldivers 2 on Xbox. Do you think that would have happened? Do you think Sony would have done that prior to Microsoft's decision to put their games on Sony? Fuck no. Fuck no. Let's go back to the article. So yeah, the company has stated, okay, this is where I'm at, right? So, all right, so let's see down here. Sales impact on PlayStation. Recent sales from Q2, quarter 2, 2025 highlights the commercial success of this strategy. 6 out of the top 10 best-selling PlayStation games were published by Microsoft. The top 5 games on PS5 included 80% Microsoft titles, with Forza Horizon 5, Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered ranking first and second. Other titles in the top 10 include Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Indiana Jones, and yada yada yada. Future outlook. Microsoft intends to continue this cross-platform momentum with upcoming titles like Avowed, Towerborn, and Flight Simulator 2024 planned for PlayStation. The move underscores Microsoft's focus on maximizing reach and revenue across consoles, not just Xbox, while leveraging well-known IPs to dominate digital and physical sales charts. Summary. Microsoft's arrangement with PlayStation is not based on hardware exclusivity, but on multi-platform publishing deals. This is why I tell people that are just typical gamers, and I don't mean no disrespect, I don't mean to be facetious or condescending, but most people, they just know how to pick up a controller and mash buttons. They do not understand business. What Microsoft has been doing is something that is business 101. It is called a licensing deal. Microsoft licenses titles over to Sony PlayStation, and PlayStation or Sony gives Microsoft a certain percentage. In fact, let me tell you something else. This has been going on. Blu-ray technology is proprietary to Sony. Well, the Xbox Series X has a Blu-ray disc drive. So for every Xbox Series X, Microsoft pays Sony a particular fee. It's a licensing agreement. These things have been around since the inception of business. But a lot of the typical gamers, they don't see it this way. So that's why I'm trying to explain it to you guys. So anyway, going back to the article, this allows Microsoft to release major games on PlayStation consoles alongside Xbox, resulting in strong sales performance and expanding the availability of traditionally Xbox exclusive franchises. This strategic shift reflects a broader industry movement toward cross-platform accessibility and maximizing intellectual property value. What does that mean? Well, it's clear that for all of the fanboys that are basically so-called journalists that keep pushing the narrative that, oh, Microsoft is, being outsold by PlayStation 4-1, 3-1, 10-1, whatever. Well, that's the truth. Like I said, largely because Microsoft just cannot gain any foothold in the Asian markets. That's just a fact. So what Microsoft learned is that while they cannot gain a foothold hardware-wise, there are still people out there that actually still may want to play Xbox games on their PlayStation. So since there are more PlayStations than Xboxes, if I have a maximum of 5 Xboxes, let's just say, right? But yet and still your product is outselling mine and there's 15 of you. If I were to sell all of my products on my 5 Xboxes, gaining money there, and I'm also selling to your 15 PlayStations, and for each sale, I'm getting 70% for each one. That means all 15 PlayStations, I'm getting 70% off of every single title. In addition to the money I'm getting from my own hardware, and also the money I'm getting from Game Pass subscribers on console, as well as the Game Pass subscribers on PC. Microsoft is in a very strong position, and do not let anyone tell you different. As I said, Microsoft is playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers. This is Red with Red Related. Like I said, man, I hope you found value in this video, because look, I could go on and on and on. I understand you guys have your favorite content creators, but I hope that you give my channel a chance. Hopefully you will subscribe, and even more so, join one of my memberships. The lowest is $2. Anybody can afford that, because it helps me out financially as a very small and struggling YouTuber. I'm the lighting guy, the camera guy, I'm the talent, I'm the editor. I don't have a team. It's just me. And so I'm hoping that I may have earned either your subscription and potentially you joining one of my memberships. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section, especially if you were told some things that you did not know about prior. Let me know, and stay tuned. Anyway, take care. Peace.